you know how you sometimes go through your life and you have this feeling that one day you are going to meet someone and you're gonna be like, oh my God, it's you. I'm standing there in the mall when all of a sudden I see her. I see her. And she's glowing. I see her aura, I see her light, I see her. And in my head, I think, I hear it. Oh my God, it's you.
Welcome to Beyond the Veil, stories of twin flames, divine union, and mystical encounters. Sit back, relax, and listen to your story today. Our next guest is Tom, and he lives in Canada, and he used to be a dog trainer, but then he embarked on this spiritual path, his awakening through the twin flame journey, and now he runs a Facebook group called the 144,000 Lightworkers, right?
Yes.
And it grew by 80,000 within a couple of months. So he's deeply on this path, and I'm really happy to welcome here. Hi, Tom.
Hi. Very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Very nice to have you. Amazing. So yeah, just go ahead and tell your story, and if I feel like interjecting, I will. And at the end, we'll have a nice dialogue.
Okay. This story is kind of like I mentioned earlier when we spoke. It's like in the 2 years that it's been going on, there's a lot of stories. So I try to get everything in a way that will make sense. I guess that to understand where I'm coming from, I need to talk about my spiritual awakening a little bit. I never consider myself as a religious person or a spiritual person. Anyway, and none of that things. I grew up as an atheist, actually. The word God was very hard for me to say. I'm saying that because growing up as a Heyoka empath, I'm a Heyoka empath. I didn't say that earlier. Growing up as a Heyoka empath, my path was challenging to say the least. I could always feel the energies around me in a very strong way. Even as a child, I always felt the energies around me very strongly. I had many instances of deja vu as a child, even that always like a deja vu. It always comes to fruition eventually. And during my life later on, I figured out that I'm clairvoyant because I can see things, sometimes in a vision, sometimes in a dream. And so far, 44 years that I've been living on this journey, everything came to fruition except for me getting together with my twin flame. That's the 1% that's missing. I'm saying that because I wish you stopped doing that.
We both have dogs. I have a brand new puppy. This is Cappuccino, my little assistant, and then he's got 3 dogs. So.
There you go. So
we might have a little disturbance, but it'll be
yes,
cute.
I'm sorry about that. Here she's
No,
trying to she's trying to butt into the camera. I have 2 dogs underneath me. So the reason I'm saying that is because going through this life, let's say during my 20s, I was living in Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm from Israel originally. I don't know if you can tell by my accent.
Yeah, totally.
Growing up and during my 20s in Tel Aviv, I was a musician. Okay. I'm a drummer. If you can see my drums behind me.
Amazing.
So I was a musician, and also I was working in a lot of bars and environments like that. Being a strong empath, feeling everything that's going around me, and not knowing that I'm an empath, not knowing anything about Heyoka or about energy. I thought I'm going crazy for most of my life. Like doctors called me many names and stuff like that. Uh, to make a long story short about my spiritual awakening, by the time I was 30, I had 3 suicide attempts behind me because the world felt so overwhelming. Like I can feel things that are not mine. I know things that are happening in real life, like what's going on. So by the time I was 30, 3 suicide attempts, and I ended up packing up my bags. I was invited to play in a band here in Canada. So like that, I packed up a bag with full of drums, a suitcase full of clothes, and here I am in North Canada. Yes, came by myself. 14 years later, I'm still here. I got married here. My daughter was born here. But like I said, Heyoka Empath, we always find ourselves in these situations, in these toxic environments where I observe all the energy and all the suffering of everybody around me to a point where sometimes I just had enough and I have to save everyone in that place, leaving that place ablaze in fire, like people are like shocked by what just happened. I usually leave, but I change the lives of the people that stay there. Like they're not gonna suffer anymore. So I always found myself during my life in this environment. Also, when I came here to Canada, toxic work environments. I worked in an official branch of hell here in Canada. It was that toxic,
Yeah.
Which led me in 2017. We had the solar eclipse, the full solar eclipse, and that I didn't mention earlier that my life seems to move in cycles of 7 years. Every
Mine
7,
too.
here you go.
What?
Every
I like
7,
my friends all know that. That's so crazy.
mhm. Every 7 years something happens. I break down.
Wow.
Dark night of the soul galore. I didn't know when I was young that it's dark night of the soul. I just ended up trying to kill myself at the end of it.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
that's why the suicide attempt. Uh, but by the end of it, I always get out of it stronger. My gifts are stronger. My connection to the universe is stronger. Um, these are the cycles. So I found
Yeah.
myself in 2017, after the solar eclipse, having another one of these episodes. I ended up in a hospital with signs of a heart attack, which wasn't. It was just my spiritual awakening. All the energy getting into me, and that started really my spiritual awakening. Like I started getting answers as to who I am. It started with the MBTI. I found out that I'm an INFJ. Are you familiar with the MBTI test?
I am. My son is obsessed and he explains it to us all the time.
Here
So
you
it's really
go.
great.
I found that I'm a Sigma INFJ actually, which
Wow.
explained my whole life, basically. The way I think, the way I experience the world, the way I analyze things. Uh, and that continued up to 2020 when Corona started. And that is when the craziness started. I mean, I started hearing voices calling me, like my name all the time. Tom, 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 Tom. And I used to turn to my wife, and I asked her, yes, What do you want? And she was like, I didn't say nothing. But I was hearing voices all the time. Tom, 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 Tom. And I couldn't sleep for the life of me. Stopped sleeping. Uh, and then the Kundalini started rising. And all these waves of energy. And I remember laying in bed, and I used to have these waves of energy coming from my hands and from my legs and climbing all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way up. And when they reached my heart chakra, all of a sudden my body jumped. Like, you know how when you use to resuscitate a person?
Oh, yeah, those little paddles.
I forgot the name. Same thing. Like, my wife took a video of that. And it all reached like a peak when my angels literally threw me out of bed into the wall, which wasn't close to the bed. But when I got up after that experience, I had a kind of a dream before it happened. And right after the dream, I found myself on the floor on top of one of the dogs. I had all this knowledge in my head. All these things that weren't there before. About light work, about energy. I understood an energy all of a sudden. About Heyoka empath. Didn't know anything about it before that night. All of a sudden, Heyoka empath. It's in my head. I know things that I didn't know before. All these tattoos that are on my body, all these images came to me that same night. And after that, I wasn't the same anymore. I got filled with a sense of a purpose. I was training dogs, but I was coming to people's houses and I was feeling the energy. And sometimes I felt like I need to do something about the people in the house, not the dogs. I have a very close family of friends that when I came to their house, I came to train their dogs. And their house, there was a lot of darkness there. A lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of... One of their kids, she's very on the spectrum, and lots of other things. And I felt it when I came to the house. And till this day, it's like been 6 years. I changed everything there, and we still friends. And all of a sudden, I had this calling to do these things, to spread love, to spread light, to change people's lives. So that was what I was doing since. 2022 was a very hard year for me. We were still in Corona phase, and I was... There's this song that symbolizes my spiritual awakening. It has a line there: I'm ready for love and I'm ready for war. Ready for love and ready for war, but I'm ready for more. I know that nobody has been this fucking ready before. Sorry, can I drop some
Yes,
F-bombs?
yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
It's even, the name of the song is tattooed on my hand. It's called My Name is Human.
Wow.
All right. That's the name of the song. In 2022, I felt like I'm ready for war. I was ready to fight. I don't know. People all around me, it was like that energy. I was suffering in 2022. I had to move my family from where I was living. Ended up moving here. Okay? To this house. Finally, I was happy. Okay? I was happy in my life. I didn't mention that, yes, I was married, but that marriage basically ended up after my daughter was born. My daughter was born and my marriage came to basically a partnership. No emotional or physical or even communication was a very big problem. Like, and also for an empath, that's my wife. We call that energy vampire.
Yeah.
Okay. So that marriage was on the rocks. I was happy in the house and where I managed to bring my family to, but I basically said I'm spreading love and light to the world, but in my own life, I'm not gonna experience love. I kind of accepted that. But I was happy. I was happy. I was playing my music and I was vibrating high and singing and with my daughter and everything was amazing. Comes April 4th, 2023. The last day that I can call normal in this life. That same morning, I took my wife and I took my daughter to the airport. My wife wanted to take my daughter to visit her brother in Vancouver. So, 4 in the morning, April 4th, I'm taking them to the airport, saying goodbye. For the first time in my life, since I got married, 12 years. No, that was 11 back then. I found myself all alone. No wife, no daughter, just me, my dogs. I'm by myself. First time in 12 years. It never happened. But it felt good. It felt like peaceful. It felt like something in the air was different that day. I remember I went to sleep and then I woke up and I looked at my backyard and I said, my backyard is dead after the winter. I'm gonna go spontaneously and buy grass seeds. I'm gonna plant some grass today. Just like that. Went, got the seeds, started working in the backyard, and I'm all vibrating high, listening to music. I'm like feeling good. When all of a sudden my phone rang. I look at my phone, I see a unlisted number, like unknown number. And usually I will never answer those numbers because if you want to talk to me, first of all, tell me who you are, and second of all, nothing good can come out of these calls when you don't know who, right? But this time I was like, unknown number, hello, didn't even think about it. On the other side of the phone was a woman. I even because I worked outside in the backyard, I even told her, I was all sweating and panting. I told her, "Can you call me in an hour? I'm kind of in the middle of something." I didn't pay much attention to that call, but I told her, "Can you call me in an hour? I will finish outside." She said, "Okay." I finish outside in the backyard. All of a sudden, she calls again. Unknown number. I pick up the phone. She's asking me if I'm Tom, the dog trainer. I said yes. She said, "It might sound weird to you, but I'm not calling about dog training." I said, "So why are you calling me?" She said she was looking for an empath in Toronto, like she was Googling for an empath in Toronto. And my website came as result number 1. A dog trainer website. As result number 1. I passed like clinics with the name empaths in them. I passed articles. I passed everything. I'm result number 1. 2 dogs and a man. That's my business. Tom the dog trainer. In my business, in my website, the term Heyoka empath is mentioned once in my bio, just to explain how I do what I do with dogs, because I'm connected to everything. To everything. I can't explain it. So it mentioned once. She found it. She Googled what a Heyoka empath was, figured out how strong I am, decided that she's gonna call me to talk to me. So I was like, okay, yes, I'm an empath. Yes, I will. How can I help you? So she said that she thinks she's an empath too, and she never found someone to talk about it with. And if I would mind to meet her for coffee or something, just to talk about being an empath, because she thinks she's going crazy. She's feeling things that she can't understand, and she doesn't know how to handle that. So I said, yes, of course, for sure. I will be happy to help. I'm always helping people. That's my life. Like people ask for help, I come there. I get there. I even told her I always uh, I always get to where I need to be. Like I always, like when I save people, when I get to this, I'm always where I need to be. And as I said that, she said, Kimber, she said, I prayed for this. And I could feel through the phone, I could feel her energy. I could feel her on the verge of tears, on the verge of, like, she was very excited, nervous. I could feel her. So we said, yes, let's meet tomorrow at the mall. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll figure out exactly the time. And we hang up the phone. And I'm like, what was that? Out of nowhere, this phone call. So I was like kind of amused, confused. I don't know. I didn't know how to read the situation. But Kimber, from that moment on, the day felt different. It felt like something just happened that is significant in ways that I can't explain. I went with my day, I go to sleep, all of a sudden starts a thunderstorm. Now, I'm a Heyoka empath, okay? Heyoka in Lakota language, that's a sacred clown, okay? And Heyoka, that's Wakyan, backwards. Wakyan is thunder being. It's a spirit that heals, that cleanses through water, through storms, with the power of thunder. Okay, me as a child, every time there was a thunderstorm, 333 is the time right now where I'm sitting. As a child, when it was like a thunderstorm, everybody stays inside. I run outside. I'm drawn to it like a moth to a flame. It charges me in ways that I can't explain. Me and thunderstorms, it's a thing. So that night, the first thunderstorm of the year, I'm standing outside. I'm like, wow. I'm observing it, the energy. I'm like, yes. I wake up in the morning. Again, the energy is different. Something is happening and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know out of where I decided, I'm going to have a salt bath today. I didn't have a salt bath since I started waking up in 2020. Someone mentioned it in a book. I did it once. I didn't do it again. That day I said, salt bath. I'm sitting in the salt bath. I'm meditating. I'm like, the day was very calm, was very like something was brewing into a direction of something. Mind you, I don't have a phone number because she was calling from an unknown number. I didn't even know if she's going to call me and if it's going to happen or whatever is going to happen with that meeting. As I think it, my phone rings. Who is it? It's her. In order not to call her, I call her the goddess. I call her the goddess when I think about her. Because of Wakian. The goddess called me. As I think about, I don't know if it will happen, it will not happen. Will she call me? Din, 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 din. Hello? It's her. That's how it, from that moment on, every time one of us got in communication with the other, I'm talking throughout the whole thing, it will always be like, I just thought about you. Or I just said your name or something like that. So we decided to meet at the mall at 7:00, and we hung up. The time for the meeting came. I'm getting ready. I'm driving to the mall. She said that she got hung up a little getting out of downtown, that she will be late a few minutes. I said, no problem. I will wait for you next to the Indigo, the bookstore. That's the only store I know at the mall. I'm not a mall guy, but I'm a very much a book guy. So I know where the bookstore is. So I said I will wait for you next to the bookstore. I'm standing there next to the bookstore, and I remember thinking to myself, I hope she's nice enough to have a conversation. Maybe I will catch the basketball game results by the end of it, because I'm a Raptors game, so there was a game that night. I said, maybe we'll have a conversation, and I will check the results at the end. See what's going on with the game. As I'm standing there and thinking, I hope she's nice enough. Oh, small anecdote in between. You know how you sometimes go through your life and you have this feeling that one day you are going to meet someone and you're going to be like, oh my God, it's you.
Yeah.
Feeling. Since I'm a kid, I had this dream with the, oh my God, it's you. And I was speaking Hebrew as a kid. It was always in English.
Wow.
And I was going with this feeling, this fantasy. Even when I was married, this fantasy always lingered, especially when things got bad. I'm standing there in the mall, looking at the crowd, lots of people, when all of a sudden, I see her. Here you go. It starts. My voice may break a few times and I might cry during this story. I see her. And she is literally glowing. She is glowing. I see her aura. I see her light. I see her. And in my head, I think, I hear it. Oh my God, it's you. Like that moment that I was dreaming about, it happened to me. I wasn't ready for it. Oh my God, it's you. I see her, and it's like, she took off her glasses. She came close to me. We hugged. We didn't say hello. We didn't say hi. We didn't say, how are you? We hugged. I never hugged somebody like on first meeting, first contact. We hugged. Like it felt so natural to do it. We started walking. We got a cup of coffee. I'm trying to follow my points. I lost myself like a long time ago. We got the coffee. We're looking for a table. In the middle of the food court, in the middle, one table. free. All the rest, full of people. She's going like, look, it's like it's waiting for us. And I'm like, okay. Also, something weird. I heard like her voice inside my head telling me, move the chair. But I was so overwhelmed by the situation that I didn't. I was like, what? She moved her own chair and she sat. I sat in front of her. First thing she's telling me, wow, have you seen the lightning storm last night? First thing she's telling me. She was standing, looking at the storm just like I did at the same time. First thing she told me about the lightning storm. From there, everything she said, it was like she's talking about me. Everything I said, her eyes got bigger and bigger, and she was smiling. Or dates when I was spiritually awakening, when I was going through my stuff, she was going through stuff herself. Like I was telling her, you're doing this time, and she was like, yes, yes. It was so, the similarities were so overwhelming that at one point I actually said the words, goddess. I didn't call her goddess, I called her by her name. But in order to, for this story, I actually feel that if I touch your hand right now, something will happen here. The table will explode. Singularity. I said that to her. At one point, we looked into each other's eyes. And in that moment, she almost passed out. She was like, all of a sudden, like noticeably. And I asked her, what happened? So she said, your eyes changed to all black. And she felt it inside of her. She felt it in her body. She felt it in her energy. She almost passed out. And me, at the same moment when I looked into her eyes, Kimber, I saw it all. I saw who she was to me. I saw who she was. I saw lifetimes. I saw. I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. I saw her soul. And I'm used to feeling people's energies and looking into them. I'm a yoga. I reflect things to people. That's what I do. But in that case, it was like, oh my God. We both were like kind of overwhelmed. We continued talking. And all of a sudden, I swear to you, I lost control over my mouth. I started talking about, we came there to talk about her being an empath. Okay? All of a sudden, past lives, angels, guardian angels. I start talking about the 144,000 all of a sudden. Who the hell tell these things to a total stranger? Like, verbal diarrhea. I basically gave her everything then and there, the whole journey. I told her we are waking up. I told her it's all about love. I told her it's all about duality. I show her my tattoos. I don't know if you can see. My tattoos, it's the tree of life split between my hands.
Beautiful.
Okay. With the roots and everything, all the lines in my tattoo, they connect to each other. And at the bottom of it, there's the empath sign. And I got these tattoos after my spiritual awakening. Okay. The empath sign is split into two parts that mirror each other. I don't know if you can see it. It's under my. No, you can't. It's mirroring each other.
Wow.
I did that without knowing even why. I show her my tattoos. I tell her it's all about duality. It's all about love. It's all about. All of a sudden, I start talking about her. Like I know her. I told her, you are a powerhouse. I told her, you are a force to be reckoned with. And I didn't know nothing about nothing. But I'm talking about her like I know her. At some point, all of a sudden, I hear, do you have a family? Okay, but something weird about that. I'm not sure she really said that. I think she thought it. And I was answering as a yoga empath, as an earth angel, light worker, I can't lie.
I get that.
It's a default setting with me. I can't lie. If it's in my, if I think it, if it's in my heart, it will get out as it is. Beautiful, disgusting, it will come out. So I heard, do you have a family? I said, yes, I have a beautiful daughter. And I'm miserably married. I said, miserably married. She didn't like it. I could feel that she didn't like it, that I was speaking about my family and in that way. A little later, and she was talking about, all of a sudden she's talking about seeing 11:11 everywhere. And I was like, what? You kept it all the way to the end of the conversation? Because that's a spiritual awakening. Like, we kind of, it kind of got overwhelming for both of us. We said, okay, we're gonna end this. I said I'm gonna send her a few lessons, maybe to raise her vibrations and stuff like that. And if she said that that's a lot to process, everything that was said and everything that happened. And if she'll have questions, she will probably reach out and we'll talk probably in the future. I walk her towards the exit of the mall. We're about to say goodbye. We hug again. I can't explain that hug. That hug felt like the most natural thing in the world to me. Felt like home. It felt, honestly, it felt like I can say anything to that woman. Anything. I felt so comfortable and so excited at the same time. I couldn't understand. Also, during the whole time, I couldn't tell like how long we've been sitting there. It looked like time stood still and went twice as fast at the same time. Like everything was insane. We hugged, we said goodbye. I walked to my car, she walks to her car, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? What the hell just happened to me? What was that? Also, my back started hurting that night after that hug. Kundalini started rising again the same night. But this time it hurt. This time it was a lot more intense. I get into my car, I drive home, I replay that meeting in my head 1,000 times while driving. When all of a sudden I hear, she's your twin flame.
Wow.
And I'm like, twin what? I had no idea about the concept. I knew I'm 144,000. I knew I'm on a mission. I knew everything. Didn't know anything about twin flames. Turns out the 144,000 are the twin flames.
Wow.
Blew my mind. By the time I got home, I knew about twin flames. I had no idea what a twin flame was. The next day I wake up, I can still feel her energy. I can still feel her, like she's next to me. The days go by, and I can't get away from the energy of hers. I can't separate myself from her, from the goddess. And also, I found out that I'm totally and utterly in love with that woman. I'm in love like I've never been in love in my life. All I can think about is her. I was walking around in the house in circles. I was so energized after that meeting because of the Kundalini, and everything started aligning. I was walking around in the house, looking out the window like she's gonna come in any second. I was in love, and I didn't know nothing about her. I didn't know. Honestly, she told me her profession. She told me what she's doing. Okay, she looks like a goddess. All right. She told me what she's doing in life. She told me her last name, but for the life of me, I remember everything about that meeting. Every time she moved her hair, every time I touched her knee 3 times. I remember that. Every word that was said, I remember everything. Her last name, I heard wrong. So that's gonna be important for the continuation of the story. I don't know anything about her. I just met her. If I was going by her looks, honestly, she's not my type. She's taller than me. She's too beautiful. It's intimidating. It's intimidating. If I was seeing her in a place, I would never think go and say hi to her. Never. What she's doing didn't impress me much because I was in that field. When I was working in hell was in her field.
Wow.
Yes. So I was dealing with people like her. Didn't impress me much. It was what I saw in her eyes that it was seared into my brain. It was seared into my soul. I fell in love with her energy, with her light. Couldn't explain it. Ask me what I love about the goddess. I don't know. Ask me what she likes in the morning when she wakes up, what she likes to eat. I have no idea. Ask me what movies she likes to watch. I don't know. I know nothing about her. But I'm in love with her like I never been before. And the days go by like this, and we are exchanging messages. Like I send her lessons, and she's replying, "Thank you kindly, thank you kindly." She's very short with her messages, but we are exchanging some communication. Also, again, I was sitting at my friend's place, and I'm talking about her. I'm telling them about that meeting. Every time I talk about her, she's sending me a message. It was like that from the beginning. I think about her, message. She thinks about me, message. Something weird was going on. Uh, so we were exchanging messages like that until at some point, one day I was in that meeting. I told her, I almost called her by her name. I told her, Goddess, we are master manifestors. We can manifest anything we want like that. I can even control the weather, I said to her. So she was amused by what I said. She said, make it rain. I said, it's storming outside. Right? But that night, I was standing in my backyard and I said, I remember that part of the conversation. I said, God, I didn't call it God back then. I call it spirit, the universe. Uh, Universe, make it rain. Give me a sign. Make it rain. As I say that, rain starts to fall. It rains for like a minute. I get message from the goddess. In that message, she said that she's been feeling a little bit that this whole process is forced on her a little bit, that it's happening and she has no control about it. Also, she said that she didn't like what I said about my wife. And I knew it. I could feel it. I could feel her freaking out. This whole time that I'm at home, I could feel her freaking out. And I knew that it's about that. So she confirmed that. She also said that if our paths will cross again, then it was for a reason. And yeah, and that was basically her message. The thing is, when the message arrived to my phone, it was all messed up. Like sentences repeated twice. The whole message was cut in a weird way. I have a tendency to mess up electronics around me when I'm excited. And I believe that's what happened to her phone when she sent that message. She was very nervous, and that message came weird. It was weird. So I said I respect her wishes. I said that I will stay away. I said a few more things in that. I said that she's an empath, that she shouldn't be afraid of her gifts and things like that. I said, you're waking up spiritually. I said a few things. I said, maybe when you remember who you are, you'll remember who I am. I said that to her.
Wow.
And we left that like that. In the meantime, my Kundalini awakening reached its peak. Like I said, the salt bath became a thing. So it happened in a salt bath. While I was meditating, all of a sudden, all this energy, all this sexual energy, and it all came up to my crown chakra, and this white light exploded in my. I was like, oh my God, what was that? And after that, honestly, Kimber, you know how they say we are all one, we are connected to everything. I felt it for a few months. I was in awe of everything. I could feel the connection to people. I could feel the connection to nature. I could feel the connection to animals. Animals started talking to me all of a sudden. The synchronicities, oh my goodness. The numbers, her name showing up everywhere. I literally, two snakes intertwined in my backyard. I have a picture. Swans. I never saw a swan in my life. Two swans flying above me.
Wow.
All of a sudden, all I wanted to do was to be in nature, to be outside. I found this spot on the lake in the middle of the forest, 5 minutes from here, by foot. All of a sudden, 6 in the morning, I feel compelled to be there to meditate. Every morning, 6 in the morning, I'm on the lake meditating. I felt the connection. Everything was. And it was like that for a while. And at some point, while meditating on the lake, I felt like I want to thank her. I felt inspired to send her a message and to thank her. I take out my phone, I start recording a video message. I go like, I put it in points so that I don't forget. I go like, I told her, just being around their light, just being around their energy, I told her it caused such a ripple effect in my life. I told her it's changed me. I told her, I'm trying to find here's the message. Here you go. I thanked her. I said she changed me. I told her I can still feel your energy till this day. Since that phone call, since you said hello to me, I can still feel your energy. I said that. I said that nothing about her is normal to me. I said that she's incredible, that she makes the impossible possible somehow. I said, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. I don't even know your last name, I said. But for me, I called her a miracle in that message. I said, for me, you're a miracle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 4 minutes and 44 seconds, not planned. That was the message. I sent her the message. That's it. Didn't think about it anymore. The next day, I drive in my car, minding my own business, when all of a sudden, this song starts playing in my playlist on Spotify. I can give you a whole lecture about songs and this journey. Oh my God, I didn't tell you about the song Black Eyes Blue. Maybe I will tell you later, because it's kind of in the middle of. This song starts playing in my playlist on Spotify, and it's a song that I never heard before. It starts with like a kind of a church music, like organs and stuff. And then it progresses to kind of an electronic music, which I don't listen to. I'm a metal drummer. I don't know if you.
Oh, amazing.
I'm a metal drummer. Okay, EDM not for me usually, but it goes to like an EDM song, and then the guy starts singing. That song is about twin flames. That song is about one soul searching for the other half of it. He's talking about the fact that they had wings. He's talking about how he sees her everywhere. He says Uh, he says, "Don't ask me why I'm here. Something deeper brought me that I need to remember." All of that in that song
Wow.
about
What song is that?
the seasons change and the years go by, and I stop the car in the on the shoulder of the road. I start crying. I'm like, "Thank you, universe. Thank you, goddess. Thank you for the message." I couldn't believe the words of the song. Not an hour goes by, I get a message from her, a voice message. In that voice message, and mind you, we didn't speak for like 2.5 months since the last time we exchanged any. In that message, she basically said that she thought about me the other day, and that she's not surprised that I reached out. She said that my energy scared her, and that is why she stayed away. Um, she said that she knows that who I am to my soul, to my core. She was the first one to say soul between us. Um, Also, she said that it's interesting that I reached out because she's going through some stuff herself, like some dark stuff, and she can't put her finger on why it's happening. Uh, and said, keep in touch. Uh, since then, we kind of exchanged messages every now and then, not on a daily basis. Every now and then, I felt like I need to send her a message. I sent her some books at some point, The Alchemist, my favorite book, and The Power of Now. I sent her like electronic. I don't know where she is. I sent her an electronic and ebook. Sorry, my dog is eating cardboard behind me, and I'm like, I wish you stop. Joya! No. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Where was I? So we exchanged messages. I sent her the books. Of course, The Alchemist is her favorite book.
Wow.
And the conversations were always, it was never like a small talk. It was always about light, about love, about these things. It was never like a flat conversation, with no depth. And it was like that. Until September 2023, I sent her a message. I wished her a happy long weekend. It was like a Labor Day or something like that. Or how they call it here in Canada. I'm not sure. I wished her a happy long weekend, sent her the message. A week later, a week later, I stand in the backyard. I always in the backyard. I have to be outside in nature, right? I'm standing outside, and all of a sudden, my heart starts beating, 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 and I'm saying to myself, "Goddess, what's going on?" Receive the message. It's always like that. I always feel her. In the message, she said, "Yeah, it was nice. She was doing fun stuff. She hoped I had fun too." And I responded with, "Oh my God, I just said your name." And she was like, "Yeah, it tends to happen, right?" She asked me, "How am I doing?" And that was it. That were the last words I heard from her. I responded but she never responded back. And there's a reason for that. 2 days later, again, I'm in my backyard, having coffee, and I was like I said, I didn't have her last name. I knew what she was doing, but I couldn't find her on social media, on
Wow.
Instagram. Didn't have any of that. All I had was a little picture on WhatsApp and the conversation that we had on WhatsApp.
Wow.
I didn't feel the need to find her on social media. Maybe I tried at the beginning because it's something that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel the need to uh, look for her. That night, I'm like, universe, God. I started talking about God. All of a sudden, I started saying God. All of a sudden, I can't stop saying God. Also, no, that came after. God, who is she? I want to know. Who is that woman that came to my life 48 hours that changed my life completely? Oh, I didn't say. I got separated from my wife even.
Wow.
Spirit didn't leave me any choice. I literally kicked my wife in my sleep twice. She came to me, she said, "You know that you are kicking me in your sleep." So instead of saying I'm sorry, I said, "So maybe we need to sleep in separate beds." It was like 10 years in the making. But when
Mm-hmm.
that conversation started, it was like that natural. And we got separated. That was it. So, where was I? Um, where was I? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, the last
Uh,
thing you said is your life changed in 48 hours.
yeah. And I asked God, who is she? For the first time in all this time that was passing by, I hear her telling me to look for her. I hear her. Like I could hear her all the time. Like I feel her energy and I can hear her thoughts and everything. But all of a sudden she tells me, look for me. So I did. I Googled her phone number. That was that easy to find her. Like I could have done it months ago. I didn't expect anything special. Like maybe a Facebook page, maybe an Instagram page. Kimber, she came to me. She attacked me from every corner of the internet. Pictures, articles written about her, written by her. She told me what she was doing. She didn't tell me she's the top of what she was doing in the country. Like in her field, it's her. I'm talking red carpets. I'm talking galas. I'm talking lifestyle of the rich and the famous. She's a big deal. I find out that she's like a celebrity. Uh, Blew my mind. You know what blew my mind more than anything? In between all the pictures of her and all the articles and all the interviews, I find a video interview. Somebody interviewed her twice. One time in 2018 and one time during Corona. Not about what she's doing, not about what she accomplished in her life. She's an entrepreneur. She teaches people how to get into her field. She has like her own thing. maybe I'm trying to keep her privacy in all of this,
Of
but
course.
maybe you will figure out what I'm talking about. Uh, an interview, an hour interview, somebody interviewed her about her intuition, about her superpower, her words. Listening to that conversation, it was like listening to myself speak. It blew me away. My experiences, how I experienced the world, how the energy and everything, and then the feelings of people. And she even had Joya. That's enough. No, she's like having a feast over there on a box. Uh, she even had a story there that confirms. I remember my past lives, a few of them. I know who I was. I even told her about it. Didn't tell her who I am, but I told her that I remember. She told the story in that interview that basically confirmed that we are that person.
Wow.
Amazing. Like, maybe I'll tell you in private if you
Yeah, I
want.
would love to hear that.
She confirmed in that interview who I've been feeling since I've been 16. I told my mother I have a feeling that I'm connected to that person. Turns out I am that person.
Amazing.
And that story confirmed that. Uh, but also finding out who she was put a lot of fear in me.
Yeah, of course.
All of a sudden, that's a big difference. That's a big difference. Add to that all the rest, 11 years difference between me and her. I'm older. Cultural and religious differences. I grew up in Israel, she grew up here, obviously in different conditions. Okay. Um, Obviously, financial situation and status and all of that. That put a lot of fear in me, and that honestly started. That was the beginning of the dark night of the soul, the first one. Also, like I said, I'm clairvoyant. So 16 years ago, I woke up from a nightmare. I was living in Israel. I woke up from a nightmare. I basically saw everything that happened on October 7th in Israel. I don't know if you're aware.
I'm very aware. Yeah.
I saw everything that happened then in my nightmare 16 years ago. I was there. I saw I saw it all. It was so horrifying that I called my mother when I woke up and I told her about the dream. My parents know about this dream that I've been dreading for 15 years. All my other premonitions, if it was small things about my own life or even stupid things, if I said it, it will happen. If I had a bigger premonition, like on a global scale, if I said it, it will happen. And that was the worst one. On October 7th, I woke up. My ex-wife is calling me. She's telling me something is going on in Israel. I didn't need to check even. I knew that it's my nightmare coming to fruition.
Wow.
That broke me. That destroyed me. I didn't understand why I have to be connected to these things, why I have to know about this for 15 years. And with the age of Aquarius and the changing of times and what's my connection to all of it? 144,000, why me? you know? Uh, uh, and that really kicked in the dark night of the soul. I was in such bad shape and I was so confused and I couldn't stop thinking about her and about this and about nothing made sense. And everything became so dark and I really couldn't stop thinking about her. It became hard to breathe. I was breathing her energy and I was choking on it. It all accumulated till in November 2023. I felt like I need to reach out to her. I felt like she's the only one that can understand what I'm going through. Plus, I couldn't contain what I felt for her inside of me anymore. I had to let it out. I loved her so much. Like, I loved her. I ended up writing a letter, a very long letter it ended up to be. But I said everything there. I said twin flames. That was stupid. I said twin flames. I said, I said next to the word twin flames, that should be a picture of us. Because of the differences and everything and the similarities and everything that happened. And here is the magic. Kimber, I'm sitting here on this desk. I had incense burning. I had some candles around. I'm writing on this same laptop that I'm talking to you right now. I'm writing the letter. And I had on the screen in front of me, there's a big screen in front of me. I don't know if you can see with my glasses. There's a big screen in front of me. I had the basketball game, the Raptors game running in the background. And I'm like all invested in the letter, and I'm writing. When all of a sudden I hear a whistle in the game. Instinctively, I'm looking up. Just imagine the shock when I found myself looking at the goddess, sitting at the basketball game, court side.
Whoa.
On the court. You know the basketball player Beasley?
Uh-huh.
He fell to her feet. The camera was on her. I have a picture of the letter on my laptop, the candles, everything, her on the screen. While I write her a letter, I was like, that is a sign, I'm sending the letter. I sent her the letter. I never heard back. But I sent it. That was November. The letter sent. I wrote to myself. And then came December. For the first time, I don't look at Instagram very often. But every time I do look at it, it's like 10 minutes after she posted something, an hour after she posted something. Like I know when she posts.
Yeah.
In December, I knew where she's going to be. She posted an event that she's going to attend 2 hours from here. That was so hard not to drive there. For like 2 weeks, I'm like, I didn't know if I'm gonna go, not gonna go. Yes, going to go, not gonna go. I asked psychic reader, should I go, shouldn't I go? I asked people like for advice. Up until that day, I didn't know if I'm going or not going. I gave my car keys to my neighbor. just so that I won't go. It was the hardest day of my life. I managed to go through it, but I sent her a message telling her that it was the hardest day of my life, not being where she is. Never heard back. But the thing is, all of that, all of these experiences, and seeing her on TV and feeling her and hearing her thoughts and this pull, honestly, it felt like if I'm going to leave my house and start walking, running, driving aimlessly, I will get to her somehow. It felt like that. All this accumulated to until in January. Oh, and also, you know, they say you meet your twin flame, your life is gonna start falling apart. Everything that's not serving you. My life fell apart completely. God closed my business. In January, I was like zero sales. Zero. All the doors closed. I was so alone. I was so isolated. I found myself, Kimber, on the floor, on my back, crying to God, looking at the rail of the staircase, thinking to myself, if it will hold my weight for a few minutes until this torment is over. I was in that place. When I woke up, when I got myself together and got off the floor, all of a sudden, they keep eating the box. I wish I feel like going there and anyways, when I got off the floor, again, like when my angels threw me out of bed, I had all this information in my head about twin flames, about Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness. All of a sudden, I understand Christ consciousness. All of a sudden, I felt the need to help people going through this, going through spiritual awakening, going through this torment. I felt the need to help them. I started reaching out to people on Facebook. All of a sudden, these twin flame groups appeared. I never saw them before. All of a sudden, twin flame groups. So I joined them and I started reaching out to people. I started writing articles about what's in my head that wasn't there before.
Wow.
And people started reaching out to me. I started talking to people. And all of a sudden, I found that a person talks to me for an hour. I look into their soul. I feel what I need to tell them intuitively. I tell them what they need to hear, and I actually changed them. Like this lady, she came to me. She said she wants to kill herself. She can't take it anymore. I speak to her for an hour. She tells me, "I love you. Thank you." I spoke to one lady, two ladies, three ladies, this guy, that guy. I even met. I spoke to a lady, Jennifer. Hi, Jenny. If you see that, the interview. A high level soulmate of mine. All of a sudden, we can feel each other, and she, unlike the goddess, she fills me in on it. Like she had a sleep paralysis, and she heard my voice calming her down.
Amazing.
And when she told me about it, I told her I know. I felt it, and it was like that with a lot of people. All of a sudden, I'm connected to the collective. I can feel the collective. Like all these people on YouTube, I know what's going on with the collective at all times. All of a sudden, I'm so in tune with the moon and the sun and the stars. Every moon cycle, I feel it. It messes me up. This last full moon messed me up.
Yeah, it
You
was a
too?
rough one. Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a rough
rough.
one.
It was a rough one.
Here you
Yeah.
go. I feel the connection to everything. Uh, so I started doing that. I opened my own Facebook group, gathered people, was doing live sessions all of a sudden with people. You know, I give lectures. People ask me questions. I give them answers. Listen, this guy asked me a question. I answered him in Melbourne, Australia. He sits. The next day, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't stop thinking about her. He didn't know what to do. I told him what I felt. The next day, he's walking in Melbourne, Australia. Here she is, standing in front of him.
Oh, wow.
Got back into communication, got back into relationship even. She was a part of my group at some point. I had the divine feminine, him, and the divine masculine, her, together.
Wow.
I found out that I can do these things all of a sudden. And I was doing it and I was doing it and I was feeling happy and I was feeling fulfilled, you know. But then May came. And I'm sure you know, I'm sure you felt the change in energy in May. Things started changing.
Very much so.
And my energy started falling again. And I felt, again, I was down. Another dark night of the soul started. It was so bad that my parents, they were so concerned that they came to visit me from Israel. They came in July. They were so concerned that I can't function. I stopped functioning. Honestly, I couldn't.
Wow.
From the collective energy and my own stuff. And this time it was different. It wasn't about her so much. It was more about self-worth and about purpose and about stepping into the light. Stop being afraid to show myself and being afraid of succeeding and money and stuff like that. That was more around that area, or more of self-fulfillment than the twin flame journey. But she was always there in the background. Like she's always here. She's always here. Always. There wasn't a day since April 4th, 2023, that she's not with me. Not a day.
Yeah.
Not one. My parents came to visit me. They stayed here. And right before they went back to Israel, they wanted to take me and my daughter to the mall to get some stuff for my daughter before they leave and maybe to go eat somewhere. That was at the beginning of August. While I'm in the mall with my parents, all of a sudden, I say too much all of a sudden, I noticed in my life. I need to find another word. But suddenly, Kimber, out of the blue, all I could feel was my twins' energy. It took over me in the middle of the mall. But it was devastated. It was heartbroken. It was so sad. I started crying in the middle of the mall. I could feel the goddess, her emotions, so overwhelming. I started crying in the middle of the mall and I didn't know what I'm crying about. I cried like when my grandmother died. My parents are looking at me and they're like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. I can feel her. I can feel her and all I can feel is crying. I went outside of the mall to calm myself down, to gather myself. I managed to do that. We went, we continued with our day. And we continued with the day, but that feeling stayed with me of what happened. Since then, I was like in grieving mode. I didn't know why, but I was grieving. I was devastated. I was so sad, and I knew it's coming from her. On top of my own stuff that I was dealing with, I was dealing with that. And it went like that. I honestly, I live in this house by myself now. I have no problem sleeping in my bed, but I reverted to sleeping in the living room. I was that, like, I didn't move. It was like that for a month until again in September. Every time in September, I asked God something about my twin. In September, I couldn't stand it anymore. I said to God, God, why is she feeling like that? Why I experience her like that? I have to know what happened to her. This whole time I want to call her to ask her what happened. And like I said, every time in September I ask God about her, God is giving me answers right away. This time, He showed me a name that I didn't recognize. I didn't understand what the meaning of the name was. So I Googled it. Googled the name. It was a man's name. It was a man's name. Turns out that the last name that she's using professionally is not her last name. And the name that I was given was her dad's name, who passed away. I found his obituary and something she wrote to his students. He was a educator, musician. I didn't know him. I didn't know nothing about him. But Kimber, it happened the same day that I was in the mall with my parents.
Oh my God. Wow.
Messed me up. Like, why do I need to feel all these things while I'm away from her, while I love her so much, while I deal with this journey, while I find out my own, it's my own spiritual journey. We know that. We know that we're the same soul. We know that. I'm not in that place of the journey where I know all of that. I knew from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to know that happened to her? I ended up sending another message telling her that I know, that I'm sorry. That not out of, every time I reached out to her, it was from except for that time when I was in a bad place, when I knew where she is. Every time I reached out was when I felt like guided to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I called, all I wanted to say is that I'm sorry. And that I know and that I'm here for her and oh, I didn't say. Right before I sent that message, again, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about sending the message and then should I and shouldn't I? And there was a basketball game again on TV. It was November already. Start of November, ending of October, beginning of November, start of basketball season. There was a game on TV. It was a special game. It was the Vince Carter jersey retirement game. They had the ceremony in the middle of the game and everything. So I wanted to see the game. I was there for the game. When all of a sudden the game starts, and again all of a sudden the game starts, and Kimber, all I could, I look at the game, and you know the camera that goes from left to right and show you the game, following the ball. I see a seat courtside from the back. I see the back of her head. I see her shoulder from afar. But I can see her energy, the same aura coming out of the seat in the middle of the basketball game. A stadium full of thousands of people. I see her aura. I'm convinced that it's her sitting there. I can't see her face. I can't see nothing. I see black hair, shoulder. But the game is going on and I'm like fixated on that seat. I can't think about anything else. The game is going on. Vince Carter, I don't give a shit. I think about that seat. At one point, I was so... It was driving me crazy. I said, I'm going to close the game because I can't, I don't watch the game anyways. Okay? As I'm about to do that, the game comes back from commercials and they show the last play by Grady Dick from the Toronto Raptors. Running next to her, sitting at that seat. I saw her again. 10 minutes after I said, God, let me see her again. God, let me see her again. Please, 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 let me see her again. Here she is in the game. That was crazy.
Crazy.
So I sent her that message, and I think that was it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. This whole time, like I said, I can feel her. I know what's going on with her. I know how she feels. I know what she thinks. I know when she's excited. I know when she's...
Such a journey.
Yeah. In December, another synchronicity. In December, for a week, I walk around the house, I sing Taylor Swift songs. I even said to my daughter, look what you're doing to me. I'm singing Taylor Swift because of you. Because she likes to hear Taylor Swift in the car when we... This one day, I sit at home and I'm by myself. And all of a sudden, I'm singing Taylor Swift songs like I'm a Swiftie. I'm like, and I'm telling to myself, the goddess is in the last Taylor Swift of the tour right now in Toronto. She's there. I just know.
That makes sense.
I just know that she's there. The next day, on her Instagram, she's there. In the concert. Not only that, the song that she was posting, the video from the concert, it was the one Taylor song that makes me cry.
Wow.
That one song that speaks about a meeting like ours. I don't know if you know the song Enchanted.
I don't know.
Listen to it.
What's it called?
Enchanted.
Enchanted. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the EDM song that you were referring to?
Oh, I didn't say. It's called Beloved. It's called Beloved.
Wow.
And it's by a group called VNV Nation.
Okay.
Also, if you want to talk about Twin Flames and music, listen to Peter Gabriel.
Oh, for
Through
sure.
the eyes of a twin flame.
For sure. I know that very well.
Peter Gabriel is an earth angel guiding us through this thing, through this journey, especially the last record that he released. After 23 years of not releasing any new music, the year I met the goddess, every full moon, he releases a new song. He goes on YouTube. He's going on YouTube. He's talking about the song.
Wow.
Every full moon until in December, it came out as a full album. Not only a full album full of songs, 444 as I said.
Wow.
Each and every song has two versions: a dark song, a dark version, and a light version. Duality.
Wow. I did not know that. I'll have to go find him.
It's called I.O., the album. In that album is like a guidebook for the ascension. Listen to it.
Amazing.
It
Okay.
came it
For
came
sure
at
I
this
will.
time to guide us.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. And and and,
What's
and and I like I said, I can give a full lecture about songs along this journey. I been aware of soul connections since I'm 20. Why? Because every time I try to kill myself, I have this guy that I'm connected to since I'm 20. Every time I try to kill myself, he was the voice in my head that came and saved me.
like
Three
a guide?
times.
A
Huh?
guide? A guide?
He's a real guy.
Oh, no way.
He's a real guy. He's actually a singer in a very famous few bands. And you know, they say, of course, the eyes are the windows to the soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw his eyes in a video clip when I was 20, when I was 20, and boom, the connection was made.
Wow.
I hear him. He's talking to me for the past 20 years through songs, through if I feel something is going on with him, it's really happening. Once
That's
I
amazing.
stood in front of him in a concert. I saw him a few times, but once I managed to isolate myself from the crowd in a concert, we looked into each other's eyes, and I'm talking to you. The guy is a metal guy. He's going crazy
Wow.
when he's on stage. He stopped. He froze, looked at me, and kept going. I felt it. I went to my brother. I told him, "You won't believe what happened with Corey right now."
Wow.
Yes. So I'm aware of soul connections. And by the
Mm-hmm.
way, Corey, that guy, he has a song, Black Eyes Blue. Like I said, when I met the goddess, my eyes turned black.
Wow.
I woke up in that with that song in my head, and all of a sudden I listened to the full album. The full album is about Corey and his twin flame.
Oh my
They
gosh.
are together
Wow.
right now.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you think he knows they're twin flames? Does he know about the
Yes, he called
journey?
her. He called her his starmate.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, the
If you
music
t-
thing's really connected. It's really crazy.
yes, he
Mm-hmm.
he he. If you trace back his songs, you can see that she was there like years ago. That he was talking about her in this band and in that band and in his solo album. It's all about her and the journey.
Wow,
In the second
incredible.
solo album, it's even more noticeable. Here
Amazing.
you go, some extra stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. The
Yeah.
synchronicities are cool. I met my twin flame on April 4th,
April 4th.
1992.
Here you
So a
go.
really long time ago. But when you said April 4th, I was like, that's the day my life changed too.
That's the day my life changed.
That's wild.
Hmm.
So cool. Yeah, and the music connection. What do you think, from your perspective, the twin flames are for? Like, why are we here, right here and right now?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. Wow, I had this for like 2 hours. I didn't take a sip. I was just talking. It's cold. Um, this is my perspective, and like I said, I have these things in my head right now. My perspective is that we are here on a mission. The 144,000 was in my head way before I met her. I'm wearing angel wings on my chest for years. We are here on a mission. I've been talking about these changes that we've been seeing in the world years ago. The wars and the regimes falling and everything that we're seeing right now going on in the world. And I was talking about the age of Aquarius a long time ago. And we just stepped into the age of Aquarius on November 19th. We
Amazing.
are actually there.
I love that.
The songs that they were singing in that movie were there. By the way, back then, after the Vietnam War and everything that was going on, the Lightworkers were there as well. Me, in my past life, I was very active then.
Oh, is that the one you remember? One of them?
Yes. I remember a few. I remember the Heyoka empath.
Yeah.
I'm pointing to my shoulder because I have a tattoo of the Heyoka empath on my shoulder. And I'm aware of the last one, and I'm aware of a few ancient ones. Like me and the goddess, we sat on a throne in Atlantis.
Makes sense.
I have memories of that time. She is also very connected to water. So my belief is that everything in my life, because I can only speak for myself and my own journey, everything in my life since I was a child, all this, I don't know how to call this journey. It was hell for most of it. Most of it I thought I'm crazy. Most of it I was suffering. All of that, getting me here to Canada, being in that toxic relationship for 12 years, going through this whole process, ending up meeting her here in Toronto. Going through all what I described in the last two hours. It was all meant to bring us to this point where I'm teaching Christ consciousness all of a sudden. I'm gathering people around me, not by myself. We have a few admins. The lady that started the group 5 years ago, up until November, she was sitting on 5,000 people. All of a sudden, in 2 months, 80,000 people. We are gathering people around us. We are teaching. We are leading the people, just like the prophecy said. The prophecy of the 144,000. And it's amazing that we learned that the 144,000 are the twin flames, 72 divine masculines, 72 divine feminines. I'm the divine feminine, by the way, if it's not clear to everybody.
It's clear to me, yeah.
If it's not clear for everybody, my twin, she's the divine masculine. That is why she's swimming in this world like it's a pool in her backyard.
Totally.
You understand? So I believe that it was all happening for a reason. I'm aware of the waves, 2012, 2017, 2019, and then 2023, 2024, when I met her. It's all accumulating to this moment where we are actually getting together. We will be together. I have no...
The twin flames and with your twin flame? Why do you think we haven't made it so far? Like most twin flames aren't together.
You couldn't keep it quiet, right? We're almost done.
He's like, I'll tell you.
Yeah, why we couldn't make it so far?
Yeah, why so far haven't the twins come together? Most of them. Some are, but...
A lot of them did. There's people that did.
Yeah, for sure.
My opinion is this. 2012, we didn't have the internet that developed like we have now. People were mostly guided by downloads and books that started coming to them. Elizabeth Clare, Prophet, Dolores Cannon, Carl Jung.
Yeah.
It was mostly books. And we couldn't tell that there's more like us. You understand? Like when I grew up as a Heyoka, until I started finding out who I am and putting some labels on stuff, I thought I'm alone in this thing and nobody can understand what I'm going through. Right?
Right.
So that was back then. And then by the time we got to 2017, 2019, there was a lot of opinions all of a sudden about this, right? And you should do this and you should do that, and the push and pull energy, and then all of that, and all these gurus started showing up everywhere, right? And it only got more confusing.
Correct.
2023, it's like really picked up speed, this whole process of the twin flames. And all of a sudden you hear about the collective shifts, and you see that it's happening collectively, and me personally, because I managed to help people, I saw that it's real. Like you manage to get yourself in balance, you manage to get yourself to that place, to that samadhi state, and all of a sudden they come back. And I know that when I was in samadhi, she was replying back to me, and when I was in fear energy, she ran away. And I know what I need to do now. Now I'm kind of getting out of the void. I'm establishing myself again. I need to create everything all over again, right?
Right.
Everything is gone. I lost everything, Kimber. I'm sitting here, lost everything. I need to reinvent myself altogether.
I know the feeling. In '99, I lost everything on this.
Here you
journey.
go.
Everything.
So, yeah.
Everything.
So here you go. This is the whole point of all of this. So
Yeah.
that I will stop being a dog trainer, and I will step into my spiritual leader role. You know,
So beautiful.
for her, she is in her field, okay? But she, if you read what she posts underneath her pictures, she's talking love and light. She's doing the same thing. She's talking unity. She's talking manifestation. So she's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. And I do believe that God is not a masochist. God is me, right?
I love that.
God is us. And God is not a masochist. He won't take us through this just to, enlightened as we may be, we will always have this disappointment. That she's the perfect human being, as far as I'm concerned.
Gorgeous.
There's no one. I look at her and she's perfect.
Wow.
She's perfect. I never, all these people that say he's a narcissist and he's a this and he's a that, and do you hate your twin flame? Is it normal to be angry at your twin flame? Blah blah blah. Cut the cords. I begged God to get her out of my life many times. By the way, each and every time something happened to me, I broke bones when I challenged God about this.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I have some new scars on my face because I challenged God about staying a dog trainer. I got bit in the face by a pit bull. God is closing my business. My dog training business is done.
Wow.
But everything is leading me to this. You understand? And I'm able to say to people, this is all happening because we are, the ages are actually changing. We are here. It's happening.
It's happening. We're here. For
Yeah,
sure.
and I can explain to people,
Yeah.
you see everything crumbling, you see the old systems falling down, you see the wars, you see the regimes. Sometimes you need to burn the old shack in order to build a shiny new castle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is what we're doing, right?
This is what we're doing. And it's the surrender. Just
Yes.
surrender to the shift and
Yeah.
align. Yeah,
And
I love
align
that.
with purpose, align with stepping into service.
Mhm.
Like if you think that you're on a twin flame journey and you think you're 144,000 and you didn't get to that point when you know that you need to step into purpose, in whichever way you do it. Some people, one of my clients, she was a teacher, high school teacher. If you listen to this, hi, she was a teacher, but her inner voice told her that she's a singer, that she needs to sing.
Wow.
And after meeting her twin flame, she decided she's gonna do that, and she's working on her music right now.
Incredible.
And her music is about life and light. Each and every one of us, we find the way to spread the light, to spread the love, to spread the knowledge, to spread the, and it's all leading us to a brand new world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I healed more when I actually stepped into my purpose and stepped into my mission. It was
Of
like,
course.
oh, that was that piece that was missing before. And when I came into service, it just all clicked together. So I
Yes.
love that so much. For that last question, what do you wish you would have known beforehand? If you could go back and tell yourself 2 years ago when you met her, is there something you wish you would have known or done in retrospect?
I wrote myself my inner child a letter when I started waking up spiritually. I told him that all that shit leads to something amazing.
Oh, I love that.
I told him that at the end of, I thought it's the end. I thought, but I told him all the thing that you went through, going through hell and back a few times, it all leads to something beautiful. I told him about God, the universe, about being held, about being supported, about being finding the reason for all of this. I told him, you're not lost. You're gonna find the reason. You're like this.
Beautiful.
And to answer your question, I asked myself many times if I knew what's going to happen, if I pick up the phone. Knowing everything that I went through, everything that happened, everything that who I am now. But I can't recognize myself like the person who answered the phone on April 4th, he's done with. He's gone. I can't remember even how it feels to be him. And my answer all the time is yes, I will pick up the phone.
Of course.
I love
Yeah.
her. I love her more than I love her. That's all I can say about the goddess. And I know that one day, they say we are here to change the paradigm, right? We're not going to do it alone. We're going to do it together, fulfilling our joint mission. And we're going to show people a different type of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Wow, I thought I'm gonna be that I'm gonna stutter, but it came out.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Veil. Please like, subscribe, and share so we can grow our channel. If you have a story you would like to share, please email nandipresents@gmail.com. If you're interested in classes or personal sessions, please visit nandi.co, Nandi.co, and have a magical day.